What's up, y'all? Al here, Harvey Sack Shack. Welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel if you're new here. This week, I don't have a whole lot for you. Just gonna do kind of a project update video and show you what's been going on around here and let you get on with your day or whatever. This truck, me and a good friend of mine who was helping me at the time did a LS swap in this in 2017, I believe. It might have been early 18. It was either late 17, early 18. Anyway, sweet little square body. It's just got a bone stock Gen 4 5.3 in it. Came back. One of the driver's side door handle was broken, and so I fixed that. And the AC is not cooling. Like, it's been 7.5 years, so it may have a small leak, or who knows. I'll get it figured out. But the belt was chirping. In recent years, I've learned about these brackets and how they do have some alignment issues. And back then, the belt didn't chirp, but over some time, it started chirping. So this is a quick performance bracket. It came from Vintage Air. But what I did, I don't know if you can even see back there, but all I had to do was put a washer behind those spacers and just space it out just a little bit to keep it from chirping. Now, I did the firewall. I don't do that stuff anymore, but I painted that. As I don't know if you can look at this and tell, but I've grown some since then. Like the coolant temp sensor is in this fitting that we had to make up and weld a ground stud on, all kind of stuff that just to make the factory gauges work. Now ICT Billet sells an adapter for that goes in the bottom of the block. But back then, 7.5, 8 years ago, some of this stuff wasn't available, or we just didn't know. But it's been running and driving since then. It's doing great. Came in for some maintenance and a few little deals. One of the fans quit working. I changed that already last week. But anyway, it's just here for a little bit of love. It's been pretty problem-free throughout its life, but here for a little bit of love. And it came in during the rain, so the wheels are brand new and dirty. Poor guy. I'm not polishing them. Anyway, sweet little truck, in for just a couple little things. This truck is 67 C10. Some of y'all might know it's been in and out of here for a while. Don't judge me on these wheels. They're just rollers so we could get it on the lift. They're not staying. Don't worry about it. On an Art Morrison chassis. And look, we've finally got the front clip on, and the stock flat 67 hood is on. And if you haven't seen this truck yet, you're not gonna believe. Let's see, I don't know if I can do this with one hand, but probably not. Hang on. All right, stock flat hood. Well, boy, that was kind of disappointing, wasn't it? 632, tall deck, Chevrolet Performance. This intake did the trick. That's a Hogan sheet metal intake. But haven't done much to this since you've seen it last. Got the front end on it, obviously. Put the transmission back in it because we sent it out to get a trans brake put in it. And been doing a few other things for him and another truck that's in the shop in the back. But that's a little update on this one. Yeah, so I think y'all seen this already. The console for that green truck is right here. It's done. We got to sand it down and shoot some paint on it so it doesn't rust anymore just from sitting around here. It's going to get fully wrapped, so we're just going to spray paint it so just to keep it from rusting. And then they'll wrap it when it goes to interior later on. I had to build these things for a friend of mine. Got some welding practice in. It's just some kind of oil return on a big winch and some little brackets, but they look like that. That's why we had to rebuild them. But this motor belongs to this truck back here that you guys haven't seen yet, unless you watched my short. I think I made one short on it. Anyway, if you go back a couple of shorts, I made a video of it, but it looked like this when I started. Boop. and now it looks like this. But it's got a full Porterbuilt level 3 version 7 airbag kit, I think is what it is. It's going to lay frame. It's going to lay the lowest point of the truck, which would be the bottom of the frame under the cab. So got that put on. It was all stock when it came in, obviously. Cleaned up the frame, just rattle canned it. And this stuff's all been powder coated by formerly B4 Industries. Now it's Third Coast. This guy, Zach, I use for all my powder coating, does a great job. But he did all this stuff in this satin gunmetal or matte gunmetal. I forget what it's called, but I believe it's matte gunmetal. Anyway, that's all on and done. The truck was already LS swapped when it came in, but I'm going to redo a few things. The back I've got all stripped down, getting it ready to weld the notches in. You know, the notches are in like whatever, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces, 4 pieces, I don't know, 5 maybe. But anyway, they come all in pieces, so you got to weld all that stuff together. But I'm trying to I want to get the front part done before I really start on the back. So when I got the motor pulled out, the customer says, hey, can you put a cam in it for me? Well, okay. So the motor's out in here, and I got a Truck Norris, a Brian Tooley Racing Truck Norris. This is a no springs required cam, but we are going to go ahead. I am going to go ahead and do new lifter trays, cam retainers, all the gaskets, and brand new set of BTR. Well, they're in a container, but they're LS7, BTR LS7 lifters. And a fresh oil change, obviously. Some new head bolts. This was a reman motor from O'Reilly, so I feel like it's going to be pretty good inside. It's a few years old, but doesn't have a lot of miles. But just put a little cam in it for some sound, and then put a converter in it. Put it all back together, get the front half together, and then move on to the back half. Because I got a lot of work to do in the back, doing a 4-link and stuff, just like in the D100. Speaking of the D100, here's a picture of it. We met up with him at a little show this weekend in Splendora, Texas, little high school shop class. A good friend of mine from way back teaches the auto shop class over there. It's more like an auto body class. Does a great job with it, and they put on a show every year that showcases their work, and it's a little car show, and usually there's 120 cars or something, which is pretty good for a local school show. There was 125 or so registered cars this year, which is pretty good. The kids get to vote, so we took the rat rod, and the kids are out there voting, and they chose it for the best rat rod, so that's pretty cool. Anyways, but the Dodge, he took it over there. It's not done. The interior's not been done. He's still waiting on him to open a spot up in the interior shop to get it over there. And it hasn't been polished yet. So he just wiped it down and took it over there. And he got the best engine bay. So that's pretty cool. There's a lot of cool cars there and a lot of good engine bays. And we were pretty proud to get the best engine bay on that truck, because it was a lot of work to get it to look like it does. And speaking of engine bays, if you saw the short, then you know. If you didn't, then you don't. We picked up this. This is a GM Performance LSX 376 B15. It's rated for 15 pounds of boost. You know, from GM, they rate it for 15. Well, Richard Holdner's already put 20 pounds on one and made over 1,000 horsepower. So that's what we're going to do. This is for the Chevel. It's 1.8 motor, and we're gonna change the cam in it because it's got a pretty weak cam. And do a few other things, some head studs and stuff like that. But got a really smoking deal on this, and just another step forward on the Chevel. We haven't been working on it much. We tried to work on the shop. I'll show you that real quick. That's one of the skid steers here. It's a friend's. We're trying to build a lean-to back here off the back of the shop. So it's going to be like 36 foot out, 34 feet wide, I think is what it is. And we got the beams up. This is 8-inch C-channel, doubled in the center, single on the outsides, and I'm gonna put 8-inch purlin on top, but it won't quit raining around here. I got work to do in the shop during the week, and I really don't like taking off during the week to do this kind of stuff. There's the rooster from next door that always crows constantly. Oh, Juanita's been going crazy with she got her a new 3D printer, and this is a GoPro mount she made. She's been making all these toolbox organizers. Love these things. They just lock together and they just sit in there. But by the time you tie them all together, it kind of holds them in place. You slam the toolbox, they still slide. But I could put double-sided tape or whatever. But really appreciate her making these, helping me out, because they kept piling up and it got really old. But she made the same kind for screwdrivers. She even made some for the picks and magnets in here. So pretty awesome. If y'all need anything like that, hit her up, Harvey's Craft Shack. She can print them, send them out, or if you're local, whatever, just holler at us. Anyways, that's pretty much it for this week. If y'all are still watching, I appreciate it, and appreciate y'all watching and subscribing and liking and commenting and whatever. Hopefully I'll see y'all next week with some progress on something. Thanks for watching. See you later. Bye.